Good morning everyone, it's Yvonne here to do your What's Cracking reading. Firstly, thank you so much for subscribing to my channel. I'll leave it there. You know how incredibly beautiful you are. My tarot class for the 23rd of October is actually now full, so I have no more places left. I'm sorry, but what I'm planning to do is alternate between the beginners and the intermediate. So I'm going to run an intermediate class in November, but I seem to have much more demand for the beginners class. So I guess once people have got a little bit of a leg up, it's not so hard for them to move forward. So once you get a little bit of confidence, then you're halfway there. So and then it just takes practice. So if you've got the confidence, you just practice, that's it. So it becomes very second nature to you. Okay, so what have I got coming up? My calendar on my website now is there for you to book direct with my calendar. It will do everything for you. It books you into Zoom if it's a Zoom meeting. If it's a telephone meeting, you'll have your number on the application. So there is nothing more for you to do once you've done that. If you can't find a time on my calendar, and that means you're either working outside of the times I've allocated or you're in another country, then you can email me directly. But I'm going to try and direct everybody through my calendar now because it makes it so much easier for me. And I don't want to get burned out, but I also don't want to not give you readings. So coaching program, I have one position left in the coaching program. I am offering this at half price. If you are interested in doing 6 sessions of coaching with me, the program is completely at your discretion. That's what life coaching is all about. It's not me advising, it's me just guiding you the way you need to go. So if you are stuck, if you have found it really difficult to get through your shadow work, if you have lots of questions about that, if you feel like you need a little bit of a kickstart in life, that's where the coaching will help you. But it's all completely led by you. So you have to be really open-minded. You have to really lead the way. What I'm there for is to help you with any sort of information you need to move in that direction. So I feel like that's all I want to talk about today. We're still in lockdown here, so we've got no live shows, no fairs or anything like that still. The government keeps moving the guideposts, so every time we sort of get close to a goal, they just move them a little bit further away. So hopefully we'll be out and about soon and I'll be back to doing face-to-face readings. Hopefully that's not too far away. But anyway, for the time being, we are going to do the readings here. So you have the Mythic Tarot here. I might be a little later with the readings for air signs today. I know I normally do them today, but I had bookings very early, so it's sort of still getting used to the calendar, unfortunately. So I may be a little late doing the air sign readings. All right, we're going to use the Mythic Tarot for your reading. Let's get stuck in. Okay, so we have the 7 of Wands coming through first. The 7 of Wands is a card that talks about sort of fighting for something, being defensive, for example, but it's about standing your ground. It is a card of being stubborn, standing up for what you think is right. So it could be, you know, that sort of you're up against a group of people. It could be that you're fighting for just to be heard or seen. But it also can be on the more negative side, you being more defensive than accepting. But whatever it is here, you're standing your ground and you're feeling like people aren't listening to you or feeling like you aren't being heard here. Okay, so we have the 9 of Pentacles. Well, maybe you're fighting for your right to be heard. Maybe you've done a lot of work on yourself. You're feeling good about where you are in life. Maybe everything's sort of moving along very well beside you and behind you. You know, the 9 of Pentacles is a card of independence, self-sufficiency, you know, feeling like you are fitting, that you are getting everything right. So it may mean that you finally got the job that you like. You may be in a position of power. It could be that you're ready to move into the next stage. But somehow or another, I'm feeling here, maybe you've had to fight to get where you are. So for example, maybe you've come out of some sort of difficult situation, difficult relationship, because I see you sort of standing in your own here, standing in your power. Beautiful energy. 8 of Wands. All right, so we have something moving very, very quickly here. Okay. Because it's like you're okay, for those of you who've been working on yourself, and I know a lot of you are because I talk to you about it. And I love it when people come back and they say to me, you know, it's been really hard, but I wouldn't change what I've been through. And that's really beautiful, because I don't think any of us, once we get into it, there are times along the way when you're sort of unfolding where you look at it and think, wow, this is really hard. It would be so much easier just to go back when I was asleep. But the awakening process can be quite jolting to start off with. But when you get down the track, it becomes very natural and very normal for you to live in this new way. So I feel like here, whatever you fought for, you've got to this beautiful position here where you are feeling absolutely 100% good. I've got little messages dropping in. Where you're feeling really good about yourself. And I feel like it's been quite a battle for you here. You may have battled people around you who didn't like the change. That's a big one for us. Once you start speaking up for yourself, everybody starts hammering down on, what is wrong with you? Do you have a problem or something? And you're thinking, I'm just standing my ground here. Although I've got to say is when we start getting a little bit more assertive, we do come across as a little bit more aggressive, but until we get used to that. So I feel like you're going through all these changes here. The thing is, there's some communication coming through here, or some sort of movement coming through. And I feel like with the Four of Swords, this is sort of like unexpected. It's like you're in your own space, you're very comfortable where you are. You've probably got all your practices in place. And I feel like something is coming through unexpected. It could be something that you've manifested here with the Seven of Pentacles, because some time ago you planted some seeds. And those seeds you've planted are obviously coming to fruition here, because you have somebody moving towards you very, very quickly with this Ten of Cups. Now, it could be that you have been through a time where you've had to stand your ground, say, for example, to change career. And you've decided to go after a career in, say, something like art or music, where people have told you previously that wasn't going to work for you. And you may have made all those changes, and now everything's starting to come towards you. Could be that you've walked away from a relationship. It could be that you've done a lot of healing from that. But whatever's going on here, everything is moving very quickly towards you now. So that Seven of Pentacles energy feels like, to me, you're becoming a magnet for abundance, which is absolutely beautiful. All right. So we have the Four of Pentacles coming through here. Let me just get that dot off my screen because it's sitting right. I need to clean the screen. The Four of Pentacles coming through. So the Four of Pentacles is about hanging on to things too tightly. And maybe you've learned how to work with this energy. Sometimes, I talk about trauma responses all the time on here. And I think it's really easy when you start seeing some of the habits you've developed as trauma responses, or PTSD that you may have developed as a child. Then you start to understand some of these habits you've had over time are part of that process. And the one that comes to mind here is that energy of, when somebody says something or does something, instead of being able to release it or, see it as their issue, and being able to understand that it doesn't belong to you, we tend to hold on tightly to those. And you can imagine if you're holding tight every time somebody says something negative, you end up having this bundle of negativity that's really difficult to put down. Like anything else, if something sort of if you have something negative that puts you in a negative frame of mind, then you become more vulnerable to more negativity. So you become a bit more sponge-like, because once you've accepted that that is true about yourself, you bring more into that. So when people give you negative comments, it's cumulative harm. You just keep putting it on top of what you've had before. And sometimes letting go of that is letting go of what you feel is a part of yourself. Now, I know that we've talked a lot about victim mentality and victim consciousness, and I put a really good clip up the other day, which a lot of people have responded well to. If you want to really sort of dig deep into the victim consciousness, or if you want to understand if it is something you're working with, it's not always about being negative. It's also about how you respond to other people. So if you're not sure what that means, I have a really good clip here. I don't think I could share it to YouTube, but I will try. And a few people have written to me and said that was just so helpful for me. So I want to share it with you. If you'd like it, let me know and I'll try and send it through to you. I might be, actually I'll post it on my page at the Aussie Goddess. So look out for it. I think the guy's name's Darren. He's South African. He's a life coach. So very similar sort of thing to what I do. But he's doing a talk on victim mentality, and it shifted a lot of my thinking when I watched it. So this is about letting go of that energy. If I feel like here somehow you're deciding that it's not serving you anymore and you're releasing things. So what you need to be doing at all times is releasing it all. Releasing your fears, releasing your worries about money, releasing your worries about where you're going, and just understand that you only live in the moment, so nothing needs to stay where it is. It's okay to release it. That was a little bit of a segue there, but obviously meant to happen. All right, so we have the Hanged Man here. I love that he's here. Queen of Pentacles coming through with the Ace of Cups. I'm feeling very much with the Ace of Cups here. We are talking about self-love. Okay, so what I feel here with the Hanged Man is that there are things about yourself that you're trying to see differently. And this is a good thing, because sometimes the things we have within us, we are not always aware of. Sometimes we sort of are aware of, but we don't want to do anything about it. We get the attitude of we can't change, that's how life is, so therefore I'll just stay the same. The Hanged Man doesn't do that. The Hanged Man questions everything. He looks at things from a different perspective, or she looks at things from a different perspective, to understand, why do you think that way? Why do you think you can't change? Why is it, as human beings, we say to people, this is who I am, this is how it is, we can't change? Because actually we can, and we're very much able to do that through certain practices. I always talk about Joe Dispenza. So if you want to know, I mean, he talks about completely changing your personality. It's just, people say it because they don't want to change. So we do a lot and we say a lot because we don't want to be fronted with that. So if you don't want to change and you want to stay as you are, then you'll say to people, I can't change, because that is your mindset. I want to stay here. And I feel like for most of us, we understand that change is a natural process. It is part of what we do. But a lot of people are scared of change because they don't know what that means for them. So I feel like here, the energy of the Queen of Pentacles is the one that we're all aiming for at the moment. And the Queen of Pentacles, or the Pentacle energy, is very much about being grounded, about sort of appreciating what's around you. And I'm getting this a lot lately for gratitude, because I feel like sometimes we sort of slip away from that. We start a bit of a practice of gratitude, and before you know it, you're slipping away. And when you slip away from it, you start slipping back into old habits again. So this is very much this energy of being really grateful for where you are, even if things don't seem, like they're where they need to be. It's still about being grateful. And I have people say to me, I have nothing to be grateful for. And I'm like, oh my goodness, really? You're alive, you have your health, you have fresh running water, you have food, you have lots of things in this universe that you need to be grateful for, even if it's just for yourself. But this is definitely for me, being grounded and being grateful. And that is the self-love energy. So self-love does mean going out and getting a massage, getting your nails done, whatever it is. Those sort of things are self-love too. But the self-love that you need to get in this lifetime is around really appreciating who you are as a person. Really loving yourself for the things you have and the things you don't have. But being grateful every day for the fact that you've got life. So obviously some people don't, and that's okay too, but this is what the universe is saying to you here. You need to really invest in yourself here with this Ace of Cups. Now, I'm feeling here, we have the Three of Cups coming through with the Knight of Swords and the Magician. And again, there's this energy is, if you bring yourself into this state of acceptance, this state of really understanding who you are and where you want to go in life, there seems to be a lot of energy of you pulling in more of that. And I feel like sometimes we don't really understand that's what manifestation is. So when you're in the right place and you're vibrating where you need to be, you can manifest the things you want. And I feel like for some of you, this is new love here coming in. I see a long-term partner here. So I really feel here that this is what you're manifesting. And the only way to manifest is to manifest from a place where you already feel abundant. And I feel like that abundance is called different things for different people who promote the idea of being able to manifest what you want. But it's about being in that place where you're already happy and already very content with where you are in life. And that doesn't mean, you're going to have the occasional bad day, or it doesn't mean there's going to be days when you sort of slip back a little bit. All of that is okay. But the magician knows ultimately that they have all the tools to create what they want. But this is a person who's found themselves in this position of self-love. Because when you're in the position of self-love, you know you have everything you need. And you let go of everything that doesn't serve you. This is about you not hanging on to desires or outcomes. This is about you understanding that you just are. You're only here in this moment. Nothing else is here but this very moment. And when you get yourself into that energy, you know you have everything you need. You don't doubt it anymore. You don't doubt your lack of self-esteem. You don't doubt that you lack confidence, because you know you have everything you need. So if you start from a simple practice, you build this self-love, then you move to this energy of manifestation here. And you can see it in action. You can see it in action. All right, so we have the Page of Cups coming through with the High Priestess. And I hear this all the time from people too, and I'm going to talk about that. And Seven of Swords coming through. That darn Seven of Swords. I hear somebody saying that because the other day somebody said to me, it keeps coming up in the readings all the time. I'm like, yes. But a lot of people see this as betrayal or somebody doing something sneaky. But very often this is you. This is you, this is your energy. This is you self-sabotaging. This is you withholding from your own self. This is you withholding love from yourself. This is you not acknowledging what you have to offer. It's not always someone else's energy. And this is very much this energy of trying to deprive yourself of something. So what I see here is there's this feeling here, especially with the High Priestess, that perhaps sometimes you don't trust your intuition. Perhaps you don't trust what you're truly capable of as a human being. And this is really being able to see things that for yourself. Like being able to understand things at the next level. So this is taking yourself into the next energy and knowing that things are coming. Being comfortable knowing that things are coming in your direction, that you are manifesting. Because you're already very comfortable in this self-love energy. So for example, if you're trying to manifest in new love for yourself, then you have to trust that you have everything you need here. And you trust that the universe is working on your behalf. And then everything starts to come as it should. And I always talk about, how interesting it is that as a kid, that energy is sort of taken away from you. Because I remember as a child, and quite a young child, often thinking about things and they would happen. And I used to think, how did that happen? And people would say to me, that's just a coincidence. That's just a coincidence. And I used to think this coincidence is really, really weird, that I would think of something and then it would happen. And you're calling that a coincidence. And it never sort of made sense to me how the universe knew to put something on your path when you'd asked for it. It was always really strange. And I can remember, for example, wanting something in the toy shop when I was a kid, and then a couple of days later my grandfather turned up with that very thing and gave it to me. And I remember looking at it and thinking, how did my grandfather know that that was what I wanted? I mean, I didn't have any understanding of what I'd done, no idea whatsoever. I'd obviously mentioned it to my grandmother because I spent a lot of time with her, and I figured later on she must have gone back and told my grandfather and he'd gone and bought it for me. But for me, that was just so powerful that somebody knew what I wanted and I didn't remember even asking for it. So I must have shown interest in it. And that is manifestation. we don't realize sometimes that maybe we do ask for things, maybe we don't, but if our intention's there, we're already putting ourselves in the pathway for that particular thing. And what I feel like here is that for many of you here, this is about you being able to manifest the love you want. But I feel like you're manifesting from this place of self-love. It's like you've put away this Seven of Swords energy. It's sort of feeling like this, really. That you've sort of put it down, and you're realizing here perhaps how you sabotage. So one way you can do this is you can deny yourself. So if you've got really negative language, for example, you may want to manifest something, but your negative language, your ego, your inner child is saying to you, you don't deserve it, or it's not going to happen, or that will never happen. Who do you think you are? You're not good enough, you're not tall enough, you're not short enough, whatever it is. But you start with that dialogue and you sabotage, because the universe doesn't know what to do with that then. I can hear your spirit guide saying, do you want it or not? Like, really, if you want it, just stay with it. Stop discounting the fact. Stop making it about your negative traits or your negative attributes. Stay in the energy of manifestation. And when you hear yourself talking in a negative way, when you hear your thoughts going down a negative road, be able to challenge them. All you've got to do is stop at that moment and just turn that thinking around, and that will help you with this self-sabotage behavior. I feel like it's about trusting this intuition, trusting that you are a magnet. You are a magnet for bringing in what you want. You are a magnet for your own divination. You are a magnet with the universe. You work with the universe. You co-create. Now, the only thing is sometimes you ask for something, it may not come quite in the shape that you wanted it, because the universe does know a little better than you. So, you might ask for somebody to donate a car to you. My daughter and I have been doing this for a while. She has 5 children, and her husband and her kids can't fit in the same car together. And of course, they're not in a position to buy another car. So we've been manifesting for her. So I keep thinking with this, it's so hard for her, but I'm not thinking that when I'm manifesting for her. My heart is going to the place where it's for her. It's a very difficult situation, yes, but I'm not thinking about that. I'm thinking about how beautiful it would be if she could just put her children in the car and all go somewhere together with the whole family. So that's what I focus on. So there's sort of this energy here of trusting what you don't know with the High Priestess. All right, so I feel like you've been perhaps fighting, but you've been stubbornly trying to get to where you needed to get to with this Nine of Pentacles. I feel like things are changing very quickly. I feel like here the universe is saying to you here, sort of chill, sit back, it's all happening. 7 of Pentacles tells me you're manifesting. The Chariot tells me it's coming towards you. Whatever you've wanted here, 10 of Cups energy. Whatever you've wanted, it is on its way. All right, let's have a quick look what you've got here. I think of some of the people throughout history who've manifested what they want, and I think we see that all the time, but we don't realise, that people are able to bring in what they want. Oh my goodness, look at this. Warrior woman, have you answered your deepest calling? Now, whether you're a male or female, you all have a warrior woman. We all have that warrior spirit. Okay, have you answered your deepest calling? You are here for a reason. You are being called to bravely pave a path. Have you answered your highest and deepest calling? Living a heart and soul-led life is not all fluffy and smooth sailing. Living a heart and soul-led life requires courage to face triumph over fear. So often our fears are the gatekeepers to our greatest gifts, and the more resistance we have toward answering a call, the more important it is to our soul's growth. Sometimes fear is an indication that we are facing the right way. Joan of Arc was known for her courage and her famous line, "I'm not afraid, I was born to do this." But the thing about courage is that it's not possible without fear. So if you're feeling afraid, what is needed is courage, and courage comes from living from the heart. Think of your fears as opportunities to expand rather than things that are holding you hostage. If you look at your fears in this light then, as uncomfortable as it might feel, it's actually a sign that you are on the right track. So there you go. Beautiful card to finish the reading. Have a wonderful day.